Now your hosts, Ryan Kane and Zach Daughtry.
Good evening, barbecue family, and welcome to another episode of Midwest Backyard Matters, proudly presented by Man Meat BBQ. Whether you are out on the driveway, in the backyard, or out on the KCBS competition trail, always remember that backyard matters. I am Zach Daughtry, co-hosting here with the 2021 American Royal Backyard Champion and the champion of all of our dear hearts, Mr. Ryan Kane. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, I'm good, man. This is getting out of hand.
We're having fun with it. We're having fun with it. We're not taking ourselves too seriously on here.
Yeah, for sure.
How was Iola?
Iola was good. The weather actually cooperated for the most part, which is really nice. Didn't start raining until right before chicken turn-ins on Saturday, but really well-run contest. They had a lot of really good stuff for the teams. Like they did a taco bar Friday night.
Nice.
Breakfast on Saturday. There was a pool at the location that you go swim. You go take showers after or whatever. It was a really good time. Competitively, we did some good things. We ended up with another top 10, which I was happy about. Got a second place brisket call as well as some lower calls on the other three, but still working at it.
Who ended up winning Iola?
Getting Sauce won.
Okay. They get in there sometimes. You see them, they've been winning, I think, a little bit this year.
Yeah. And then Randy with high IQ, I think, came in reserve. But yeah, it was a fun time. It wasn't a large field of teams, but we had a good time.
Well, that's good. That's good. No, like I said, I knew you were down there, and then everybody else was either. I mean, there were so many contests this past weekend. It seemed like there was people. They were in Shenandoah, Iowa. They were in Collinsville, Illinois. They were in Miami. They were in Iola. They were everywhere. It seemed like a lot of people spread out. Mostly in the Midwest. It seems like the big ones are in the Midwest. So, anyways, we've got some results to catch up here from this week's backyard action. So first up, we had Smoking on the Root down in Miami, Oklahoma. Only 7 teams were in this particular contest. Winning the grand championship was Bull in the Ring. Reserve grand champion was O-Town Q. 3rd, Greg Scown and Compete Barbecue. 4th, The Smoking Goat. 5th, Money Stove. 6th, Money Shop Barbecue. And rounding out your 7 competitors was Brisket for My Biscuit.
Also happening this weekend was Smoke in the Grove in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. This was a max points contest, it appears. Winning was Ham Squad, and second place is The Fat Is Where It's At Barbecue, who I believe just moved up to number 1 in the rib standings.
Just jumped.
For Team of the Year. Third place was Uncle W's Backyard Barbecue. 4th, Sticks and Stones. 5th, Kane's Barbecue. 6th, Golden Blue and our friend Travis Murphy. 7th, Manhattan Jack's Barbecue. 8th, Brewski's BBQ. Zony Q in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 was Stroked Out Cooking Team.
Yeah, I could not believe how many teams were competing that weekend in
That's
Grove.
That's the Mid-Atlantic coming out in
Oh, man, just packed. Yeah, so we had some updates in the Team of the Year backyard chicken race. Staying in first, our friends Joey Lee and Drew Wilson with Furlong Smoking Seafood. Ham Squad moves up to second. Josh Hess with Hess Hogs 4 in third. Rib Life 4th. Veteran Pork Pullers in 5th. Brian Calhoun and Weeze's Groove and Barbecue 6th. Schmack You 7th. The Fat Is Where It's At 8th. Moving into 9th overall, Tasker's Barbecue Supply. And rounding out your top 10 in backyard chicken is Leela Q.
Yeah, good stuff. For Team of the Year backyard ribs, like we just talked about, The Fat Is Where It's At moved into the top spot with a 1286. Got a 40-point jump on our boy Robert with Swinalicious. In third is Weeze's Groovin'. 4th, Mispillion Meat Works. In 5th was Dog Patch Q. Leela Q in 6th. Wrecking Crew Barbecue in 7th. Hickory Hangover in 8th. Furlong Smoking Seafood in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 for Team of the Year ribs is Ham Squad.
Yeah, seems like Furlong's, Ham Squad, Leela Q been in the top 10, it seems like, most of this year. Like I said, still some really good competitions coming up and still a lot of time to go in that chase. But, boy, those things are really starting to heat up as we move into the dog days of summer.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of impressive to see it's a pretty good mix, right? You've got a lot of teams who show up in either the chicken or the ribs category, but you still have some heavy hitters that are on both of those lists. And that's, I mean, that's a hell of an accomplishment, especially for anybody, you know, you're grinding out all those friends, and it's just natural for one of the meats to kind of want, you know, do a little bit better than the other one. So basically to be on both lists, that's awesome.
Yeah. And as we move into the fall here in the next month, we have some big doubles coming up in Wisconsin and in Oklahoma. It's going to be really interesting to see how this shakes out before Worlds in November.
Yeah, I don't know how many more points we'll see gained as far as that top spot. They're already pretty high as far as the points themselves are concerned, but you'll see it kind of start to narrow down where your second, third, and fourth place teams will catch up, and it won't be a 40-point gap. It'll be a 5-point gap between first and second, I think, as we get closer towards the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's going to be a really, really fun chase as we go down the backstretch. So, well, Ryan, I think we're ready to bring on our guests this week. So the guests this week are out of the beautiful state of Arkansas, in Brookland, Arkansas. We have Jason Cottingham, Tiffany Vaughn, and David Ellison. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing great.
Doing good.
Thank you for inviting us, guys.
Absolutely, buddy.
It's always good to see you guys. We don't see you since Dave moved out of Kansas. We just don't see you guys, it seems like, as much now. But you got doing big business down there with your food trailer and your supply store, and you guys have just taken off, man.
Been very blessed. Once we got started, matter of fact, I remember telling David, hope someone shows up. And it went from I hope someone shows up to working 7 days a week. So
From I hope they show up to I hope they go away for at least a little bit. Yeah. Give us a break, will you? Just can we just take one day off just to have for ourselves, and we'll be right back out on Monday? Yeah, no, but we're so happy for you guys and proud of you guys, and we knew you'd be a big success, but man, you guys are a huge success, and I really don't think there's a hotter brand right now. You guys are just taking off across the country for sure. So
we've
big things.
It's been very surprising of the outpouring of our friends, our family that has came, and our catering that has taken off like crazy. We have big plans in the future. I guess everyone's seen the other day, we posted some sneak peek pictures of some new equipment that we got. But yeah, we're happy to be taking care of everybody in Northeast Arkansas, and come see us. Please do.
Well, you guys are putting the old Hickory kids through college, man. It seems like you guys are buying so much on the old Hickory pits, and like I said, your new one is going to be awesome. I know you guys have big plans for that. Well, tonight let's kind of start off the conversation here for those who do not know you guys are really familiar with your brand at all. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and your road into the barbecue industry.
You want to go first, David?
Sure. Mine's easy. Well, I guess say it's easy. My background is insurance and law enforcement, and my old State Farm boss got a wild hair one day, and he doesn't do anything halfway. He said, I think we ought to start cooking barbecue and start competing. I said, I think that'd be fun. And so he went and bought 2 backwood party smokers and a trailer to haul them in, about a 16-footer. And then we outgrew those quickly. And then the next thing I know, we got 2 Fast Eddies with a 30-foot trailer. I mean, it went from one extreme to another. And we competed and we won a few times. But then we got spanked a lot of times. We got taught a lot of lessons. Went to Myron Nixon School and learned a lot there. That was a turning point for us, because we learned everything that we thought that we were doing right, we were doing wrong. And so, but I moved up to Kansas for about 2.5 years. And then, Jason, Tiffany, we all kind of talking about this barbecue business one day. And then days turned into months. And then we were talking every single day, twice a day probably. And he said, whenever this thing's ready to go, are you ready to go? And I said, absolutely. So the day that he said he was ready to go, I walked in, handed my key in at State Farm. And that was the last day I was there, May 5th, 2020.
And very nerve-wracking. You imagine every one of us is licensed professionals leaving, great paying jobs and great benefits and vacation and all that stuff to just hope someone comes. I'm telling you, I was nervous for months. I was bad nervous because I used to be getting it. I was a ER nurse. Tiffany was too. David had her, what he was doing too. And man, it quickly flipped around to, wow, hope we can control all this. So
you got to take a chance on yourself, right? You got to, if you believe in what you're doing and you have a passion for it, you got to take that leap. And it obviously has worked out for you guys. So no, like I said, you guys have just skyrocketed as a brand.
Ryan had to hear me talk about it every week at KC Grill because I didn't miss no Saturdays. He knows.
Nope, he was there. The only thing we didn't do was pay him.
Yeah, I did. I was cheap labor. Hey, you know what's crazy is every week, every Saturday I was there. That's when everybody comes in to buy the heavy grills, and Fat Boy's always got to help lift the heavy grills. So here I am. Never.
You were picking up, so they had to have you lift up those Myron Mixons and the drums and everything.
Though, I mean, it was a chain of events up there that caused me to even go to that store. There was another store, I'll say in the same town, and I didn't necessarily have the best experience. Not saying anything bad, just didn't have a good experience. And I walk into KC Grill, and there's a guy there by the name of Trey. And next thing I know, I'm won over. And then now I'm buying a smoker from him. And the next thing I know, I'm there every single Saturday from almost open to close. And I meet Ryan, I meet Travis, I meet Richard. I meet, DeWitt. I meet all these guys that end up being these heavy hitters. And I don't know this at the time, but I start learning very quickly that they know a lot more than I do. And that helped, I think, set me on the course to where I'm at.
If you remember, Dave, that's how I met you, because I was back when I was an ambassador with Texas Pepper Jelly, I still know Derek Evelyn, and he knew you because he was doing the same. Now he's getting paid officially from KC Grill, and he introduced me to you, and then I started talking to you on Instagram, and then through you I met Jason and Tiffany, and just things went from there. And so no, the store pretty integral, and it kind of, at least the four of us, bring how we've all met and then started how Ryan and I started doing this thing. So no, it's a cool thing.
It is.
Actually, we started all about the same time.
Yeah, the first time I ever met you guys officially, Jason was the 2021 Royal. Well, that's the first time I met Ryan too. So we were there doing steak, and you guys were doing backyard, and so I just remember that we were there just setting up, and I just walked over and just introduced myself to you guys because I'd only known you on social media, and yeah, no, like I said, it was we did all start about the same time.
Yeah. That was one of those cases where they just, you meet Dave and Jason, and they don't know a stranger as soon as you meet them. That's kind of one of the, that was what I always learned from meeting them. Is like, you're like, after a weekend of hanging out with these dudes, you're like, I like these guys. They're my best friends.
We got to get rid of these guys.
Quick. These rednecks from Arkansas. That's exactly what I thought that Richard and everybody thought of me when I was in there, because half of them didn't even know my name. They called me Arkansas for months. They didn't have a clue what my name was. Finally, I just had to just keep telling my name. And when you buy enough, when you spend, I'm scared to say how much money I spent probably over that time, but a little bit. So, but no, it did. It kind of set the course for all of us guys to meet, and ladies. I mean, it's you never know how the stars align. And so I think it definitely put me on a positive course. Although I did get, I moved from all y'all, so now y'all don't get to see me no more.
It is a disappointment, I have to be honest.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry I'm not there to give you hell anymore.
Fair enough. So, Trauma Hogs is a multifaceted business with the food truck, the supply store, and a line of 2 rubs, right? I want to talk about that SPG because I'm pretty sure that is a staple rub in every single one of our houses. Myself, Zach, so many people I know, we love it. It's what we put on, everything. It's on my eggs in the morning, on my steaks at night. Let's talk about that.
That's a crazy story, actually. just to back up just a little bit, me and Tiffany, just our background, but we were ER nurses for a long time. Happened to COVID. COVID came around at the very beginning of COVID. The hospital systems that we were working for cut a lot of the nurses loose because a lot of people wasn't coming into the hospitals. And me and Tiffany lost our job back home. We I see that comment. I know where it's from. Anyway,
I know exactly who it is.
Anyway, let me finish the story. Anyway, I went to California and worked. Me and Tiffany both did, and we worked out there for 6 months. And during that time, David, me and him were mixing stuff at home. We were mixing all kind of stuff. Matter of fact, we were mixing stuff and then selling it and just trialing it blind taste testing people to see what we thought. Well, anyway, I went to California. The place where I went was very eclectic. A lot of chefs, a lot of foodies, a lot of high-end restaurants. Learned how to match some different ingredients. And one of the chefs, we went out and ate one night. I'll just tell you, Larapin Cafe, which is in Northern California. And one of the chefs told me, he goes, "You need to consider this." And I called our co-packer back. I said, "Hey, can you get this?" He's like, "Oh yeah, we use that all the time." I said, "Put that in it, and I want to try that." Anyway, that's the story, honestly. And plus, we want, if you notice on our salt, pepper, garlic, that pepper is a special pepper. We wanted it to look very uniform when you lay it out on a rib. The pepper flake. If you notice, that pepper flake lays flat. It's not a granulated 16 mesh or anything like that. It lays down flat. It looks good on appearance, and it adds just a bite of spice to it. So that's the story of it. That's crazy, ain't it? And if I hadn't ever went to California, I probably wouldn't have got that ingredient that goes in it. So
I started hearing about it before it hit the market, and the people around KCGC had access to it. I remember Bill Fleetwood was like, "You've got to try this stuff. Like you need to try this."
Actually, the roll that we were all at was the first time I brought that. And the crazy story of it is, I had it made at the co-packer, and I love our co-packer. Not talking anything bad about them because I love those guys. And David probably knows the story and fix to tell, but I went over Malcolm.
I think I know this too.
I went over Malcolm's shop. I'm friends with those guys, Jamie and Mark and Malcolm too. And I took that rub over there, and I'm so proud. First rub, can't wait to show everybody. The SPG was the first one to come out. I took my truck over there. The whole back end of the truck was loaded in SPG. Went up to the counter. Everyone came out of the office, and they said, "Oh, man, you got your first rub." I said, "Yeah, let's take a look at it." Opened that case, and I grabbed a piece of rub and handed it to Malcolm. And he goes, "Man, that label looks fire. That label looks really good." And, man, when I seen it, I was just devastated because the co-packer put barbecue rub in an SPG bottle. Nobody even noticed.
I had never heard that story before.
And I said, "Give me that bottle back." Anyway, he has a little bit of connection, so he called Tastemaker, and they took care of it. So
I think I still have a bottle of the SPG in the barbecue label.
Yeah. So if you remember at the Royal, it was flip flopped. I just gave it out because there's no way we could have utilized it, but that's the story of it. It's a great story.
No, awesome. I mean, really, there are SPGs there. You guys know this well. I mean, the market is saturated with rubs of all kinds, right? Especially all purpose. But I mean, outside of home style from Man Meat, your guys's, I would say it is one of the premier all-purpose rubs in all of barbecue. And I think it'd be harder to find people who don't use it than people who do use it. Because everyone I know uses it. Everybody. And it has just taken off. Not that your main barbecue rub isn't good, because it's good too. But the SPG, man, it has just resonated within the industry and competitors, and it's just gone like wildfire.
What's your comments on it, David?
I had some of the prototype models of it, so I had been using it for a while, and it killed me that I couldn't give it to nobody at the store because it's still tweaking on it. So it's my favorite SPG.
We use it every day. Matter of fact, we get our own rubs in bulk. Matter of fact, our barbecue and SPG is on all of our stuff. So we use our stuff. And when people come up to the trailer, what do you use? Here you go. I mean, that is no lie.
It has a good earthiness to it. It's got good earthiness to it on the rib, and then of course, our rib finishes off sweet, but it's got a good, and of course, it's beautiful. I'm gonna brag. I'm not gonna back up from what we do. Nobody's rib nowhere around looks as good or tastes as good. I'm not saying no one else's don't taste good. I just said they don't taste as good as ours and look as good. There's a difference there. So.
And hey, we've got some GCs and RGCs with it too. Brian Miller's got some with it, and I'll just tell you. And I know some other people I really can't tell you, but Brian uses it a lot, and I've seen him do great stuff with it. So
hey, that was a 7th place shed, 7th place ribs. We beat Malcolm, Diva Q, Jay Durbin only beat us by 1. So I mean, it was that was a hot hand that day. I mean, here you are cooking against the best. Of course, that's what we want to do. We want to cook against the best. And, I mean, it hit. Right out of the gates, very first competition that we hit it with. It hit right out of the gate.
But go ahead and tell them what you said about the ribs.
I hated them.
Ribs look like crap.
I hated them. Ryan knows. And Zach knows I hated him. I told him, I threw him in the box. I said, I hate him. I said, we're going to finish dead ass.
I was talking to you down at the shed. Or, I wasn't down there, but I was talking to you on Instagram Messenger, and you're like, I hated the damn things. I didn't want,
There was no garnish. There was no garnish. And I've got a picture. Me and David seen it the other day. We had no utensils. He was stripping ribs with one of those grill grate flippers. He took the end of it and was stripping the ribs.
Yeah, dude, we went down there to have a good time and ended up at a competition. Who knew? So,
would that 7th place cost you just a tent or a tent and some other supplies as well?
I mean, it was a. You know what it was crazy is though that shed. I mean, if we don't go to it, things later on may not happen the way they do. But we meet, the owners of Code 3. We meet Malcolm personally down there. Jay Durbin, all these guys that I look up to.
We're good friends with Marty because he's been killing it on the steak circuit too.
His steak rub is phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
I agree. We sell tons of it.
We can't keep it. I mean, we got one customer that'll buy 1 a week. I mean, his sodium level, he probably better have it checked.
Ain't it amazing who you meet? Like meet you guys and met those guys at the shed. Now we do business with those guys. It's just amazing how life works. I mean, how everything has played and how everything has played out.
Instagram and KCGC. It seems like it has just kind of split off, and you meet all these different people, and then just competing. The people you meet competing, and even us doing the show, I've met people that I don't know if I would have, because I don't get out there and compete as much as say Ryan does, but we've met people through the show and different stuff. No, it has a ripple effect. So here's a question for Tiffany. Tiffany, I can see you. You will not escape us. You have to. You will be on the show. Okay.
I'm just letting the boys talk.
So Tiffany, what is it like to work with these two knuckleheads every day?
Oh gosh.
That's a loaded question.
and then in all seriousness, what does it mean to you to be a woman in the barbecue industry, and what does it mean specifically for you to be a part of Trauma Hogs as a brand?
It's been a major blessing. Getting to work with these guys, see the amazing recipes, the amazing food that they produce, and that we're able to put out to our customers on a daily basis is just phenomenal. To see our customer base grow, we make friends with so many of our customers, and getting to interact with them and learn about them. And even when they're, this is something that we talk about, that even when they're having a bad day or something's going on with their family, like we know it. We talk to them about it. We like to support our community. So it's been a major blessing. Keeping these guys in line is pretty tough, but it's worth it.
We were, on Tiffany's thing, there's a lot of great women that's in the barbecue industry, and we got to meet some of those.
Yep.
So this is just a side story, but we were contacted by Southern Dimensions, and they asked if we wanted to bring the trailer down to the National Barbecue Association in Fort Worth, and glad we did. You talk about nervous. David will tell you right now, you serve barbecue to the barbecue elite. That made me nervous.
Serving a barbecue sandwich to Mo and
Brad's family,
Brad's family, yeah.
Mark Lambert,
Blacks.
Blacks was down there. I don't know if you know that whole organization in Texas. Kent was down there and introduced himself. We met Mike from Messy Mike's up in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And then
It's
Notorious PIG, that group of guys from Illinois.
Yeah.
Met a lot of people down there.
Yeah.
And but getting back to Tiffany, there was a lot of women pitmasters down there. And
that's what I was going to say.
And they were very welcoming. So.
Girlfriends, wives, all involved in what their husbands or boyfriends or partners are doing. Getting to be, I'm kind of more on the business side of things, but I had a good chat with Messy Mike's wife, and just kind of compare notes of what they do with their business. They're very weather dependent because they're up there in the Northeast, and so they shut down 6 months out of the year. And so we kind of talked about that, what that looks like for them and their business, and just kind of pointers and even some of the stuff with our catering, the program that we use. We introduced that to a bunch of people, and so that's helped out some of those guys as well.
And very welcoming. We talked to Brad and Brooke the whole time, and Brooke was like, "Hey, we kind of know what you guys are doing. If you ever need any questions answered or anything like that, just contact us." Where can you get valuable information like that with any other industry? I mean, these guys are pros.
No, there in just a couple of years that I've been involved in barbecue, you guys are going to, echo what I'm going to say here. I have not met a more welcoming group of people who, as fierce as the competition can be and as competitive as people are in the industry from a business standpoint, they will still take the time to talk to you, introduce themselves, give you pointers, and make you feel welcome. And so, no, really, I can't say enough about the barbecue family and what they mean to mine and Katie's family, because this is something that has turned into kind of a casual thing, into almost it has become a huge part of our life. And like I said, we had to thank the barbecue family for being so welcoming to us, and I know you guys all feel the same way.
Oh, absolutely,
especially Josh DeWitt. I just left his house.
Him too. Yeah.
So one of the things that I know that you guys, so we know that you have a bunch of different parts of the business, right? So it's just, I'm trying to figure out how to formulate this question. How did every kind of component of Trauma Hogs kind of get going? And was it always the plan to have the barbecue supply shop, the food truck, the rub line, all of those things together kind of make up Trauma Hogs? But it's just, it's crazy how much there is at this point. Like, I know you guys have the food trailer. Now you also have the delivery van or the van for smaller catering gigs. You're out there at festivals. You're out there, at those conferences. I know one of my favorite pictures is the picture of the big ass trailer inside of a conference center. I don't even logistically understand how that's possible.
David can tell the story on that.
But but how did all of those things start to come into play?
I think it started with a lot of brainstorming when we were on those phone conversations, like David was talking about earlier, like twice a day. And, kind of started with the rub, and then Jason wanted to do the trailer, and we're like, well, how else can we, make this a thing, make this a business that can be.
A lot of networking. Me and David know a lot. I'll just be honest with you. We know a lot of people. We worked in the service industry. He knew tons of people in Jonesboro. I did too. And went out and networked and made the right connections. And don't you agree?
I do. I mean, and still people are coming up that didn't even know I had moved back. 2 years later, 2.5, almost 3 years later going on it. Man, I can't believe, and then, you're back. And then the next thing you know, they're getting caterings every week, and it's just, it's pretty humbling, I'd say, most of the time. When he was talking about we were talking once a day, maybe twice a day, what he failed to mention was he was trying to talk me off the ledge, because I loved my job at one time working for State Farm, but it got to the point where I was completely burnt out of it. And he would call, he said, how's things going? I go, I'm just about ready to not literally go postal, but I was at that point. And so he said, well, just hold out. We're almost there. And then everybody at KC Grill had to hear me talk about this and that every week and how I was going to fly the coop. And then finally, like I said, when the day came, it was an easy decision for me. It was hard, but it was easy, if that makes sense. Hard knowing that you're giving up a lot, actually, to look for the bigger picture. And it's hard sometimes to see that bigger picture. I still have problems seeing it every day. Sometimes it's hard because you're tired. Hell, we all work stupid hours. I mean, they were there at 3 o'clock the other morning. They beat me there. And so it's hard sometimes to wrap your hands around. Everybody only sees what happens from the trailer window out. They only see the icing on the cake. They never see the making of it. They never see the building and what it takes to make that machine run every single day.
A lot.
And it's something for sure. It's not for the weak.
I remember when you told me that you were getting ready to move back, and I mean, you could definitely tell that you were, nervous about it, but then honestly, you still seemed super hopeful about it. And then I just remember seeing photos when you guys were first going in the trailer, and you just looked happy, right? Like I knew you were run ragged and you were fucking tired and all this stuff, but you still seemed happy with the decision. And I think there's value to that. Like, I mean, even if it was a risk or anything like that, it seems like it's paying off. And I mean this for Jason as well as Dave and Tiffany. Like, you all just seemed happy to be doing what you were doing, even if it was the hardest you've had to work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I still don't dread coming to work. I never dread coming to work. I may be wore out, tired, and cranky, and David knows, but I don't dread coming in.
I remember when that trailer was getting built, and Jason, you were giddy, and you kept texting me on the side, like, look at these plans, like look at this, and it was like waiting for a baby to be born.
It was.
It was a 9-month journey, so it literally was.
Because they had to build it. It was all custom built. And shout out to Southern Dimension Trailers, by the way.
They do not like when you call them either. Just saying.
And you kept saying, "Well, look at this," and I'm gonna show you this. You can't tell anybody, and all this kind of. I mean, it was cool. It was a cool thing to watch.
The cool story you just mentioned,
they
don't like to be called. Hey, they called him on a Friday, I think. No, they called him on a Thursday or something and said, hey, that thing will be done sometime next week. He said, we'll be there Monday to pick it up. He didn't even give him a chance. So here we take off for Waycross.
Which was not the wisest choice.
Yeah, we didn't check the weather.
Go ahead and tell him, David. It was bad.
Before you decide to go pull a 30-foot, 14,000-pound trailer without a tow bars or sway kit, in a tropical depression, you need to rethink yourself. As a matter of fact, you need to go get in a white straitjacket because that was drawn up number one, if you know what I mean. Drawn up the whole ride back, the whole way down the coastline, nothing but 40-mile-an-hour wind, 50-mile-an-hour. So
we had to stop. We had to stop in Fort Walton, and we had to let a lot of it blow through. But those guys, they make an amazing piece of equipment. We've had zero problems, and on knock on wood, we've had zero issues out of it. And matter of fact, when we took it to the National Barbecue Association, a lot of the guys that actually have trailers and Southern Dimension trailers, they were impressed of what we had added to it. I don't know if you've seen what's on the inside now, but we've got some state-of-the-art technology in there, especially with our Toast point-of-sale system. We can take online orders. We have a kitchen display screen, just like large restaurants. We can see kind of what's going on, and we got some big, good good equipment in there.
No, it is bright and shiny, and when you roll up, it looks like Garth Brooks rolling into the parking lot when you guys roll in with that big old black trailer. Like I said, it pumps out some great stuff. And let's stay on that topic. Let's talk about the things that come out of the trailer and the things that springs from your guys' brains collectively, right? So if you follow Trauma Hogs on social media, and if you don't, you're a fool. You need to follow them right now. We've got down here at the bottom, we have all the information for you to start following these guys on Instagram and Facebook and their website. The cool dishes that come out of your guys' trailer, you do your standbys, right? You do your ribs and your brisket and your turkey and things like that. But, it seems like weekly you pump out a really cool, unique dish that you serve to your customers.
Yes.
So what goes into the cool, unique dishes, right? And do you brainstorm those ahead of time? Do you just get there at 3-4 in the morning and you guys sit down, you walk into that trailer, and just inspiration just kind of clicks, and you say, "Hey, let's make this today," and see how it goes? What's the process creatively for
That's
your
a David
guys?
question.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That's a David question.
Sometimes it's planned out. Sometimes it's at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And I mean, the planned out times, it's kind of a 50-50 for all of us. We all agree on what to do typically.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't, we'll end up agreeing anyway. That's just what we do. But I mean, I think back on all the stuff that we've done, and some of them stand out more than others. Some were more fun than others. Some were more popular than others. But if the old saying is, if you throw stuff up against the wall, eventually something will stick. So you find something that does good. I mean, those trauma dogs, I mean, they're probably that. I mean, salads are real popular. We've been doing those here lately. But that's, as far as the wacky stuff, we just I got a lot of inspiration. I can't lie. I got a lot of inspiration from Richard because some of the wild stuff he does, and from Chef Salty Balls over at High Point. Those guys and Mike Johnson, they are the pinnacle of wild stuff to me. And every time I see that stuff, I think, okay, how could we do that, but do a different version of it? Do something similar, but not copy it. And I mean, and finding ingredients to do some of this wild stuff, that's a whole nother ball game. On the spur of the moment, that's another. I enjoy doing it, and I know they do. We have fun with it. It's expansion maybe one day allows for more even stupid creations. So I'll just leave it there. But
and on the business aspect of it too, if you do something, this is the honest truth, and this is what we think about it. David handles the creative portion of that. On Wednesday, if you think about it, it's a slower day of the week. I mean, there's a ramp up in a business, in a food service business. There is for us. Well, there was for a while. Tuesday was real heavy. But on Wednesday, you need something to showcase what you can do. And that's the reason why we got into this business. It wasn't just to cook ribs, turkey, and brisket and all this stuff every day, which we do consistently, but it gives us a showcase of what we can do, and it gives people an opportunity to be watching on a slower business day. I've got tons of feedback, and David knows this too. Hey, we're watching every Wednesday to see what you guys are going to do. And it's usually knock it out of the park every Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
it also allows us to kind of try some things that we might not want to just throw on the daily menu right away.
It's a test kitchen.
Kind of be able to test the market and test the kitchen, and
we can go back and look at analytics from our reports and say, hey, we sold that many trauma dogs. We need to throw that on the menu. And but yeah, and David gets to work out all of his stuff. So
yeah, I mean, who doesn't want macaroni and jalapeno cheddar sausage and brisket and pulled pork on a sandwich? I mean, hey, listen, we're sending people to the hospital. They used to save people, and now we're killing them again. So that's what we do.
I tell everyone in the trailer. David knows the story. I tell everybody that comes up. They're like, there's a lot of stress. Yeah, that's a lot of stress. This is our baby. But me and Tiffany used to worry about someone dying And now I just worry if you want jalapeno on your nachos. So, I mean, a lot less stress when it comes that way.
So speaking of expansion and creativity, anything new coming down the pipe?
I really want to work on David a Rub. Me and him have talked about it. It needs his own branding on it. We've got an idea for something. I want to make it happen. I've got to figure it out.
It'll be a good one. Jason and I have been working on it. It'll be a good one. It's just the logo design. He won't let me do the logo design I want.
Can you give us any hints on what the flavor profile will be, or have you got that far?
Jalapeno in it, but it'll have something else. It'll be Atlanta inspired. I know that's not going to be. That's going to throw you completely off. It'll be Atlanta inspired.
I agree.
David, have we had conversations about this before? Because I think I might know what you're talking about. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Like I said, the logo.
Off the air because I have no idea what you're talking about.
The logo. We'll have to work on the logo because I want it to be one thing, but I don't know if we'll be able to pull it off. But yes, we have talked about that before, and I think there may be a little market for it. I don't know. We'll see. You had talked to him about the expansion. You had talked about to them. I'm gonna stay out of that conversation until they get it.
It is the last question here. So, what plans do you guys have for the growth of your business in a brand, your brand? What's next for Trauma Hogs?
Brick and mortar. I've watched every business model from guys that were friends of in Texas that started in a food trailer. Heim, Panther City, all the Texas Monthly guys. I've been watching nonstop and talking to our friends. We've got a new friend in Pennsylvania we've been talking to, Big Dan, that we met. He's got a restaurant out of Philly, but brick and mortar. And,
so would you stop the food truck, or would this just become
no
the home base?
We can actually use, David knows this, we can actually use that trailer for what it was built for. We never anticipated when we built that trailer that we would be blessed with a large customer base. And we don't get the opportunity to move that trailer very often because people depend on us being there. I think that's a key in any kind of business, even though we're closed tomorrow because, well, I'm in Olathe right now. But consistency with your food, consistency of your hours, and it's hard to do and take trailer and pull around every different location. So I'm very weary of moving that trailer, and it frees that up to what it can be used for now. We have a large industrial base back home, a food service factory base. Those guys call us weekly of wanting the trailer out at the factories because their employees can't leave. And we can actually, utilize what we bought it for. So,
and online ordering is big for us. There's a lot of opportunity, I think, in opening up online ordering, being able to partner with some of the delivery apps because there's so many people in our area because we're kind of spread out. So it may take somebody 30, 45 minutes to get across town to the trailer. But with being able to online order, get it delivered, that opens them up to be able to try us as well.
We're very conscious. We want a high quality product. So that's the only reason why we haven't turned online ordering on now,
right?
Because we're worried about how that product's going to be when you get it at your house 20 minutes. So if you're wondering why we haven't done our online ordering, that's it. And David will agree. We want the best product, the best presentation. I know this is crazy, but when you see David put a rib plate out, it literally looks like a comp box.
Yep.
I swear to you.
Every time.
Every time.
That's called OCD if y'all don't know what that means. I know you do. I know both of y'all know exactly what that is. It's literally OCD. And, it is a curse and a blessing simultaneously.
Yeah.
So you got
what you see, that's part of, the quality product. And tastes good, great consistency, and it looks amazing. So
you guys got a new thing coming up in Paragould. Do you want to reveal to our audience what you guys are going to have going on in Paragould?
We're trying to separate our catering from our daily service. It's getting increasingly hard every week. Before the program, we were talking about this, and Zach, we were talking about doing some caterings. Our caterings, I'll tell you, we do multiples a day before we even open. Matter of fact, on the average, what are we doing, David? 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, on average.
We do local businesses, we do factories, we do schools. Now the schools have ramped back up because they're back. We're supposed to be at a school this week coming up, but that's the main focus of that.
Do you guys do those as basically like a boxed lunch type of thing during the week?
Yes. Tiffany, you can touch base on that.
It ends up being more of the like buffet style catering more so than the box lunches. The box lunches kind of limit because you're limited by space by that some, and we find that people like to have either the ribs or the pork or they want more than 2 sides, or they want the dessert to, and it's just hard to fit that all into a box. So we end up doing a lot more of the buffet style than the box.
Getting back to Paragould though. So we rented a space in Paragould. I'll just announce it right now. So it's between where we are now and actual inside the city of Paragould. And it's going to house our catering, and it will handle some online orders and some pickup orders. But we're trying to separate our catering from our trailer. David knows we're inundated. We're at max volume of what we can even cook. Matter of fact, we're at max volume of what we can even hold or even refrigerate. So that's the reason why we've got a little growing pains going on right now. And that's the reason why you've seen the big boy that show up from Old Hickory the other day.
Yeah, and it'll.
So is that going to be at the catering location, or is that ELDX going to get?
It'll be a large commercial kitchen. Huge commercial kitchen. We'll be able to do some other stuff, and then we want to be able to handle we have a ton of folks that come by in the afternoon and pick up from Paragould. It'll be an easier option for them. So
that's awesome.
But yes, big announcement.
Big announcement right there, right here on Midwest Backyard Matters, folks.
That's right. Trailer's still going to be operational where it is, guys. If you're in the Brookland area, if you're watching right now, still going to be in the same spot. But we want to try and separate our catering from our.
That's awesome, guys.
It's a good problem to have, guys.
Yeah, you guys.
We're very blessed.
Going gangbusters over here. Well, guys, you want to have any final comments for our audience tonight? Like I said. Where to find you guys on social media, where to find you in Brookland. I mean, anything you want to leave our audience with here tonight before we let you go?
David, you can go first.
Oh, well, I mean, I talk all the time. So, I mean, everybody knows what I got to say because I'm pretty vocal. No, I just appreciate y'all because, I mean, Ryan, thank goodness he finally moved up to the big leagues. He whooped everybody to death. Now he's still whooping them. And
getting handed.
Well, I just aspire to be you, Ryan.
I just aspire to have your beard, bro.
You don't want this beard. It's got gray now. I told you, man. That's
grease in it.
Stress and age getting on me. But no, my journey was, I met so many people up there that set this in play for at least me. And then it kind of morphed into what it is now as far as that. But if I don't move up there, I never meet Craig. I never meet Ryan. I never meet Zach. I don't meet any of you guys. And, my life course is probably different. And so I appreciate y'all. I appreciate what you do. People don't understand. It's pretty difficult doing what y'all do. Full-time jobs, wives, careers, kids. And it's same on the – I can see. Can anybody else see these comments? I'm seeing these.
Yeah, we can see.
We're doing these purposely, so because we're live, so we have audience comments.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I don't have anything good to say. I have stuff good to say about y'all, and of course my teammates know what I think about them because I'll tell them. They know, and they'll tell me. So, but we have a good time. Every once in a while. I miss my old job, but it's only because that I didn't have to be at work at 4 a.m, 4:30. That's the only aspect I miss of it. Otherwise, this right here it's fun. We talk barbecue all day long. You think you get tired of it, but you really don't. So it's a lifestyle, man. It's
a barbecue lifestyle. We say it all the time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric.
I thank you guys. Thank you guys for having us on here. Backyard competitions is a very important thing for us. We feel like, that's where the beginnings of a lot of family and meeting friends and developing relationships like this. This is how we started. Think about it. I mean, we started from backyard stuff, and I appreciate you guys a lot in different respects. Also, I appreciate David. So he knows I do.
We both do.
I do.
We wish you
We
all
talk
the
about
best.
it
Also-
every morning.
I've got to do the plugs. So thank you, Prairie Fresh, and thank you, Seaboard. So we love those guys. We love Josh and
Our Royal Oak friends.
our Royal Oak friends, Craig. We love those guys. Those guys take care of us.
Team Royal Oak,
very
baby.
appreciative. Yes. I got a message from Craig the other day that he shot a video and had the SPG in it. So
There you go.
very, very blessed.
And we're
Well,
more
I
than
know
happy
Zach
to
said at the
answer-
beginning of the show, we're proud as hell to know you guys. Really awesome to watch.
And please,
watch our
if-
friends follow their dreams.
If you're interested in starting a food truck or starting a barbecue business and you want some real life advice, please reach out to any of us. We can tell you. I mean, it's hard. You got to want it. And I think that it shows that we really want it.
No, we're proud of you guys. We love you guys. And like I said, thank you for sponsoring our show and supporting what Ryan and I are trying to do here with the podcast and where we're trying to go with it. And said, really, thank you guys for coming on so much. And hopefully I'll see you guys. I'm probably coming your way in November when I head down to Gadsden. So I'm going to try to really swing in and
Yes,
see you
please
guys.
come
And
see us.
I'll try to see you guys.
And
when
we'll
I come-
see you guys in
We'll put you to
late
work. Don't
September,
worry.
won't we?
In September.
And
Yes.
that's right. You guys will be at the Royal.
Yes.
We will. We'll
That's
actually get to do a competition, David.
That's going to be awesome. Looking forward to hanging with you again.
Hey, we only like to do a competition once every 2 years. We try to keep it to a minimum, obviously.
I want to do a competition all the time. Matter of fact, when we're running ribs every day, man, you talk about the perfect platform of testing anything. When you cook every day, man, we can see every rub, how it lays out, how it cooks. Man,
We practice for a competition every single day. We just don't know it, but we do every single day.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend, guys.
Thank you guys so much for coming on the show tonight. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Yep.
Thank y'all.
Thank
You
you.
guys take care. Well, that was really good. Like I said, I'm glad that they got to announce what's going on with their catering. Like I said, I didn't realize that I knew they did a lot of catering, but I didn't realize that it had taken off that huge to where they're going to have a standalone kitchen just to handle their catering business.
Yeah, it's crazy how far it's grown even from the beginning. But they jumped in with both feet and they kind of, they bought into what they wanted to do. And I think they had nowhere to go but to be successful with it.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you got next? What's going on, Ryan? Are you competing this upcoming weekend? Do you got a weekend off? What do you got going on?
Taking this weekend off. Me and the Farleys from the OG Bandits are going to run some practice and see if we can't figure out, I'm trying to figure out where my tenderness and my taste has been fallen short a little bit. And they're going to run some practices for some stuff coming up. Hopefully the retired Bandits might actually cook again. Who knows? And then the next weekend, yeah, exactly. Then the weekend after that, I'll be in Winston, Missouri, cooking the barbecue at the trackside. So
That's right. I forgot
for a
to announce.
contest.
Yeah,
think
that's
there's
a good
still
one.
space for teams.
That's the one I shadowed Brian at last year, and it was a good time. They had the races on Friday night, and that was a really good one. Yeah. So if you guys are thinking about entering into a mat, because they're not doing a backyard, I think it's just
It's just the Masters.
So if you guys are looking to do a Masters contest here in Missouri, think about entering the Winston Comp. It's a really, really good one. They do a good job up there.
What do you have going on?
Practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did chicken practice a week ago, and it was great. Did chicken practice a couple days ago, and it was just terrible. So I got to find consistency because, man, like I said, all we're doing is practicing, getting ready for. Well, we'll have Belton in mid-September. We decided that's the one we're going to do. I'm not going to go up to Iowa. We're going to do Belton, and so I'll be down there. There with
Belton
Devin.
will be your test run before Tahlequah, right?
I'd like to do good at Belton, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good look at see where we are competitively against. I know Devin and Fluffy Butt will be there, and I don't know who else is going to be at that one. I think I talked to him a few days ago. I think he's doing Iowa. And at that time, I thought we were going to do Iowa too, but they're only paying out top 3. Huge purse, but only paying top 3, and Belton is paying top 5. So it's a lower entry.
Well, it's so close to home, right?
It's so, yeah. I mean, I think the Iowa was in Davenport. It's up in Quad Cities. Now I've only got to go 40 miles south, a little over 40 miles south into Belton. So much closer. And Katie will be able to go with me to that one because she was not going to be able to go with me to the Davenport, Iowa one. So got that, and then we are full bore getting ready for the Tahlequah double. So
that'll be awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely have to get Nick on before that contest.
Yeah, I'm going to plan to have him on.
That's a super interesting story as to how he's gotten that one going, and just how successful it was the first year. But
he really, I've been talking to him because now we rented that fifth wheel to do Tahlequah. I didn't realize until after we rented it that it was 41 foot. I just didn't, because I'm an idiot. I didn't pay attention. And I went to Kate and I said, I can't say it on air what I really said. And I said, I can't, this is 41 feet long, Katie. I was like, is it even going to be in it? Because I didn't know what the space allotment was. And I messaged Nick really quick and I was like, are you going to be able to fit a 41-foot trailer? And he got back to me and said, yeah, it's going to be no problem. So shout out to Nick Davis from Double Barrel Barbecue, who's the organizer for Q for a Cause in Tahlequah. Awesome organizer, and we will have him on the show in the coming months to talk about that contest. But next week, we already have it lined up, and we are sticking with Arkansas. We will have one of the hottest teams on the Masters circuit right now, Drew Davis from Razorbacks. He has been killing it the last few times out. He's a good cook anyway, but he's been just, scorching hot these last few ones out.
2 GCs and 2 weekends. The first one on 1 can.
Yeah, he has blown up on social media like crazy. So we'll just give you a little preview. Drew Davis cooked a Master Series competition. That's a 4-meat competition, cooking on only 1 drum, which is a heck of a feat just to do that. And not only to pull off the cook and hit your turn-ins, but to win the whole dang thing. So Drew will be on next week to talk to us about that and what else he's got going on for his team Razorbacks. So anyways, Brian, I think that's all for us tonight. Do you have anything you want to leave the audience with before we peace out?
Oh man, kind of like what we said at the end of talking to the Trauma Hogs boys is go follow them on social media. They post a lot of really cool stuff. You get to see one of the coolest trailers in barbecue. I mean, that thing is a Cadillac.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
They're great dudes. We really appreciate them supporting the show. We appreciated having them on, and we hope you all enjoyed watching.
Absolutely. They're some of the nicest people in barbecue, bar none. So, this has been another episode of Midwest Backyard Matters, proudly presented by Man Meat BBQ. Whether you are out on the driveway, in the backyard, or out on the KCBS competition trail, always remember that backyard matters. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good night.
Midwest Backyard Matters, brought to you by Man Meat BBQ. Additional sponsors: American Fire Barbecue and Grilling Supply, Sofa King Awesome Barbecue, Trauma Hogs BBQ, and Hunsaker Smokers.